Hey there, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Stories, Storytime with Lack. This is probably one of the wildest stories I've ever heard in my entire life. Joining me on the Yellow Sofa today is Melina, my prom date. Love you. Who is going to be talking to me about the time she had a boyfriend for 2 years, they lived together, and she finds out that she's the other woman. Popcorn at the ready, notepad at the ready because we're taking notes for red flags. I've already started on my donut, so get your snacks, pull up a seat, let's go. Melina, thank you for joining me here on the yellow couch on Tell Me a Story,
Oh,
Storytime with Lack. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm so excited for this
Oh,
moment. I'm good, but I'm so excited. But the first thing I need to know, Melina, is what are we drinking? What's going on?
I'm drinking coffee. Yeah, I'm being boring. I'm drinking coffee. I'm hungover. So that's all I can stomach right now.
You know what? You're the first guest to
Okay.
drink coffee. Everyone
Really?
has tea, water, booze, which is what
I've
I
got water
have.
as well. Oh, is
Oh,
that water as well?
water. I have
Ooh,
passion fruit recorder leg, so
I used
cheers.
to love that. Cheers.
Okay, so I know what you're drinking. What I need to know is what story are you going to be telling me? What are you going to be sharing today?
Well, I'm gonna tell you all about the time I had an ex
Oh no.
who I was with
Yeah.
for 2 years.
Yep.
And then I found out that I was the mistress, basically.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, so I just want to be transparent here. I've heard this story, and when I heard this story, I just had a lightning bulb moment. I was like, you definitely need to be on this podcast to share. So I guess my first question is, let's just start from the beginning. How did you and this guy, who I'm guessing gonna remain nameless,
Yeah.
how did you meet?
We worked together, so I knew him for a good 4 or 5 months
Okay.
before anything happened. And we were just good friends. We had good banter, he wasn't really my type, but it's just we got along really well, so yeah, and then
Okay,
things just
so
went from there.
who made the first move?
He did.
He made the first move. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Fair.
So what he did is he waited until I left because my contract was up, so I had to move on.
Fair.
He waited until I left, and then he popped up on Facebook like, "What you saying, big Ed?" I'm not even joking. I'm just like, "What?"
Oh, that good old romantic. What are you saying, Big
uh,
Ed? Wow.
yeah. But then, and then he just wanted to hang out, have some drinks.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it because I drink with friends. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's gonna happen.
So
And then we just got really drunk.
I just want to know, okay, so you knew each other. Obviously, you worked together. Um, did you ever know anything about who he was dating or seeing or anything like that at this time? Because obviously you're friends and you work together. Did this ever come up in conversation or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so
It's we weren't friends like that, personal lives. It
yeah.
was it was pretty surface level.
Okay, fair, fair, fair.
So, yeah.
So he makes the first move. He calls you big head, great, and you go for drinks, and you get to be in this relationship. Fine.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's the relationship like? Before anything, what's it like?
It was great because, he was respectful. He paid for things. I didn't experience men paying for things before him. And it's just we had so much fun together. We'd go random towns, random cities just for a day, just
Oh wow.
shopping, Yeah, went to the zoo.
Love the zoo.
Like, we did so much stuff together, and it was always really spontaneous. We even went to Leeds.
Oh, okay. Let me understand.
And it was really good. Like, we used to argue
Yeah.
sometimes, but happens. But
Okay.
it, like, it was
So,
good while it lasted.
yeah, that's okay. So, like, you said that you were together for like 2 years or around 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Do you were you living together or like what was that situation?
Well, I had my flat.
Hmm.
So then he would stay at mine a few days a week, but then he just eventually pretty much moved in because he was there every day. He
Wow.
had a key, everything. And he didn't pay no bills.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Not a fan of that one. But okay.
So yeah, he lived with me
And you say that like he was there like every day, pretty much.
pretty much because he'd finish work before I would. So like he'd be there when I got home from work, or I'd pick him up on the way home from work, and we'd just go home. He called it home.
Okay. Okay. Um. So I guess it's time to get to the juicy part. How
Um,
what happened? Like just what happened is my question. Like how did you find out that you're the other woman? Like and I want to know about any red flags. I want to know like any suspicions. Actually, start with any suspicions before like how it all
okay.
unfolded. But did you have any suspicions in the 2 years that you were together and that you were living together? Like, did you ever think,
Like I noticed little red flags here and there,
okay.
but I just ignored them.
And what were the
And
red
because
flags?
like messages on his phone, I never got to see them, but you know when someone's phone's just going just like over and over again,
Yeah,
you know it's usually a girl.
yeah.
And he said she's just someone who wants to be with him, that he's known from before, and she's just nobody basically. And I believed it like a fool.
So you trusted him. You trusted
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Okay. So like he's getting messages. You think he's saying it's just no one. Fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that only happened like twice maybe.
Okay. That's
But I just pushed it aside. I didn't even think about it. That's the thing. It wasn't in the back of my head. Like it just gone. I was like, okay.
wow. Okay. Fair.
I was so naive. It's ridiculous.
Any more red flags?
Well, about a year and a half into the relationship, he started picking fights like for no reason.
Oh.
I didn't get it because I didn't care. And he was acting like he wanted me to care more, but I'd just sit there like, and then, and then one day he's just like grabbed his bag, started packing his things like he's gonna leave, and I'm like, okay, go then, because I'm just like, I'm not gonna beg you
Because
to
you're not paying
stay.
any rent, so goodbye.
Exactly. He just started taking up his things, and just as before he's walked out the door, he's just like, so you're not even gonna try and stop me then?
No.
I was like, no.
No.
And then he left. And then I think it's like a few days later we spoke and like made up basically. So I'm like, okay, when you coming back? And he's like, oh, I'm not sure yet because my mom she's not well and I'm having to take care of her. Da, 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 da. But he was never specific about what was wrong with his mom.
Okay.
But he was like insinuating that it was cancer and that he had to look after her.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause there, and I want to know:
Oh,
had you met any of his family, his friends? Um, Because actually, I'm guessing like you knew each other before like you got in the relationship, and even though you said it was like
Hmm.
surface level, but did you meet any friends or have any mutual friends? Um,
Not really, because
okay.
he just wanted to keep everything separate. I met a few of his friends, but it was never more than like, you're right, like that's it. I met his sister, but that was literally just saying hello one time. But he used to say that his sister's a bitch, so you don't want to talk to her. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, we've got these little any more red flags. So
Just from the cancer thing,
yeah.
he would just like he'd never come round and he'd never stay for long. And then he started talking about he was changing like his mum's adult nappies and stuff like that. And it just sound nothing. It didn't make sense what he was telling me. And he'd fake cry,
What?
like no tears.
What? This is crazy. This is
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Okay. So, like, during,
So
okay, obviously you don't know anything yet, but you kind of, during, like, the moments of the fake crying and the changing of his mom's adult nappies, like, are you getting suspicious, or are you still just like, hmm,
I just started to think like I can't be bothered with you. At that point, I was getting a bit bored of him.
okay, fair.
So I just didn't really care. I didn't think it was like another woman or anything. Like that didn't even cross my mind. I just thought, okay, whatever. I'll see you when I see you. I'll just do what I want in the meantime.
So, how do you find out that you are the other woman? Not, like, how do you find that out?
She messaged me on Instagram. His missus of 4 years.
What? What?
So we're sitting. He's at mine at this point, and we're just sitting there on my bed, chilling. And then I've got a message from a girl saying, "Hey, do you know so and so? I've seen you've been messaging. Is there something going on between you two?" Like, and she was like, "I'm not trying to start any trouble, but he's my boyfriend, and we've got a baby together."
Oh my God. No! 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 And so you're with him
He's right next to me. He's
right next
literally
to
right next
you.
to me. And I didn't say anything at first. I'm just holding my phone and I'm like, and like, it's weird because instantly I thought, I don't believe this. I was that naive. Like, I just thought, I don't believe her. And then I asked him about it. I literally showed him the message. I was just like, why is some girl saying this to me? And then he's just gone, oh, she's nobody. She just wants me. And she's lying about having a kid with me. And I knew at that point that he was lying. I don't know what it was. The way he said it, it was just
Hmm.
like, you're lying.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you instantly, from his reaction, you know he's lying. What?
Yeah.
And then what?
It's like I sat there for a bit and I thought, like, am I gonna cry? It's like I felt like I'm supposed to cry, but I wasn't crying, but I could just feel the anger just
Oh,
building up.
it's
So
anger.
I left.
Mm.
I grabbed my car keys and I left, leaving him in my flat, bear in mind. And I've got in my car and I just drove down the road. And then I pulled over and I thought, I need to speak to this girl. So I said to her, send me your number and I'll call you. I didn't answer her question. I was just like, I'm going to call you.
Fair.
Yeah, and then she answered the phone. Sounded like she was panicking. And I was just like, yeah, he's my boyfriend. I told her, I was like, we've been together for 2 years and he lives with me. And she goes, he lives with me? What are you talking about? I'm like,
Melina, what's going
how?
on? What is going on?
I'm like, how is that possible? How can someone convince two separate girls that he's living with both of them?
What?
Like, he
How?
was at my house enough for me to believe he lived with me. He called it home, everything. And bear in mind, it wasn't like nearby. It wasn't close. It was like in. It wasn't in Birmingham.
Oh my god.
So he had to get trains before he drove. He would have had to get trains to get to her, unless he had help.
Wow. This
I
is
wouldn't know.
like this is actually so crazy. So you sound like you were calm on the phone. Were you calm or were you like angry, shouting?
I think I was angry,
Yeah, you were
but I wasn't
angry.
shouting
Yeah.
because I had nothing. I wasn't angry at her, and I needed her to understand that I didn't know,
Mm.
especially because she had a baby with him. Like,
What?
so
Okay, so you've spoken, and then what? What does she
yeah. So
say?
she stayed on the phone because she was like, "Where is he now? What's he saying?" And I'm like, "I left him in my flat, but I'm gonna drive back now because I had all the information that they had a kid together and like he was like a stepfather to her other child."
Oh my god.
And that she was all involved with his family like a proper girlfriend is supposed to be. So then I drove back, and she's still on the phone. I've just left her on speaker or whatever, so she can just hear everything. I drove back, and as I pulled in to where I park, he's pulling out in his car, trying to drive away. So I just blocked him with my car. And I've jumped out my car. I'm like, gone up to his car and like, yeah. I went crazy. She's still on the phone. And what I did is I threw my phone on top of his car. She's still on the phone.
Yeah.
She can hear everything. And I just, I don't condone violence, Lakaya.
But you know what?
But
Sometimes,
I've never been so angry in my life. I was,
wow. You know what? We don't need to go into details of like what you did,
no,
but like,
no. I think
no, we don't need to. But you did
we
tell
gotta
me.
be careful.
Yeah, yeah, you did tell me, and I'm like thumbs up because fair. But
Yeah.
so, what's he saying? Like, is he apologizing?
He,
Is he still lying? Like, what's going on?
I think that there was some apologies thrown around, but he couldn't really get a word in because I was just.
Yeah.
But he was just like, so now you know everything now. I was like, okay, do I? But yeah, so I didn't let him leave for a while because my car was in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just still. I got so angry I started laughing.
Oh
Like,
my
I was just.
goodness.
I had just the biggest. I remember just having the biggest smile on my face.
Stop! What?
But I was just. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like everything just. It's like. I felt like my head exploded. And like, it's just like. All the bubbles just like went pop. I can't even explain how I felt. It was crazy.
It almost sounds like something like you were so angry, something just came over you, like this.
Yeah, it was traumatic. It really was.
Oh no, sorry.
It-
Sorry. Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you like you have your words and you say what you need to say. We'll put it like
Mhm.
that. He leaves. Is he trying to stay? Is he like
No,
yeah.
he wasn't trying to stay. He eventually I let him go because I was standing in between like his car door was open and I was standing there so he couldn't close it. And then I just let him close it. Did a little something to the car. And then he just looked at me, he gave me a weird look, and then he drove off, but he had to drive over like the curb and the grass so he could escape.
Wow. Not escape. Oh my gosh. So, do you remember that moment, like when he left? Like, what's going on in your head? Like, how do you have you cried?
No, not yet. It's like I had so much adrenaline still.
Hmm.
Like it was weird. It was like I was high or something. And oh, bear in mind the girl's still on the phone.
Oh,
She heard
oh,
everything.
she's still on the phone.
Yeah, I picked up my phone. I'm like, "Hello, you still there?" And she was in bits. She was crying on the phone, like, because you can imagine 4 years thinking that's you got a child with the man. But then I hung up the phone, and then I went inside, and I've like sat down on my bed, and I'm shaking at this point, and like all my nails were broken, and I called my mum, and at this point I was like, I don't remember if I was crying.
Mm.
I can't remember. But I called her and she came up straight away. Bless her.
Aww,
And like, yeah,
that is
sorted me out.
so insane. Like, I just can't believe that like someone can live with make two people like you said. Like, how do you make two people feel like they live like? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. How are people doing this?
It was a lot of effort on his part.
Yeah, it must have been. That is insane. So, did he ever contact you? Like, did you ever make up? I know that you obviously, obviously you didn't, but like, did you ever?
No, there was zero contact. I blocked him on everything. Because the last thing I said to him, because he did phone me after, I think it was after I spoke to my mum, before my mum arrived. He
Mhm.
phoned me and I thought, let me just answer it, see what he's saying. And he was just like, I'm sorry, Mel. Now you know everything. And he was like, I did love you. And like, okay. And I was just like, you know what? Don't contact me ever again. Go be with your family and your children. And that was that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Did that like that? Obviously, this was how many years ago now was this?
5 years ago?
I know this is a stupid, almost obvious question, but did that kind of scare you from getting in another relationship and like trusting people?
Yes, definitely. Because I was so naive. Like, I just trust whatever people would say. Unless it was really obvious.
Yeah.
It was just like whatever someone said, I'd take it at face value. Like, okay, yeah. But then I was just really, I didn't trust anybody. I thought,
Oh, I hate
just,
that.
uh, not just relationship wise, just people in general. Thinking like, you can be one person, but I might not know you at all.
That's so scary. Like that's actually the scary part of it, though. Like it's
Yeah.
almost.
I felt like the 2 years were like a lie. Like I felt like he stole 2 years of my life. Like I could have been doing something better. Could have been doing someone better. you know.
Drink to that. Oh, definitely drink to that. Oh
You
my
know, it's
gosh.
like I felt robbed. And those were my good years. I was 21, 22. Like, those were good years, and I
Yeah.
felt like they'd been taken from me.
I really do hate that. The story is it's so like fascinating. I can't lie, it's very interesting. But I hate that like that happened to you. I hate that that happens to people. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of just. I'd love to study people that can do like things like how do you do it? How do you actually do it? But that's beyond cheating
Yeah.
now. Like this is. There's a whole
Yeah, it's
lot
not
of
cheat. It's having like two homes. It's like having a double life. That's
yeah. How that's just
like
absolutely
it's
crazy.
like they're two different. It's two different people.
And
Because we were complete opposites, me and the girl, like complete opposites. So it's like he must have been basically being two different people.
honestly,
You know what I mean?
on
One person for me and a different for her.
on the next episode of Tell Me a Story, I'm gonna invite him. I'm joking. I'm joking, but I don't. I really appreciate
Oh,
you for coming on and telling me this story. I just want to like
oh,
end on a positive note because you've moved on. You
yeah.
have a beautiful child. So that's amazing, and I'm happy that you were able to move on. I'm sure that was like it was difficult, it was hard, but like I'm
Yeah.
happy that all of that's behind you now. But thank you, Melina,
No problem. Thanks for
for
having me.
like this was such
Oh,
a crazy episode.
it's
Um,
so bad.
but I will sign off and just thank you again.
Okay. You're welcome. I love
Love you. Bye.
you.